If you don't know what questions to ask, you will not get the answers you need to move forward. I think far too many health professionals are asking themselves the wrong questions, which is why their businesses, online specifically, are not growing fast enough. So in this video, I'm going to show you some better questions to ask, because the better the question, the better the answer. So let's keep watching. Hey guys, what's up? Yuri, Elkaim, your CEO and founder of Healthpreneur. Hope you're doing great. And today I want to walk you through some examples of questions that people ask me that I don't think are helping their business. So this is actually something that we asked in our community. If you could get Yuri's thoughts on just one area of your business, what would it be? And some of the responses were like, I want to start an LLC, but I don't know anything about what's best. I don't want to get taken advantage of. That's not an important question to really focus on early on in your business. Like, yes, setting up a corporation is good, but I didn't have a corporation for the first 40 years of my business online. Is that the best advice? No, but you don't want to let that stuff hold you back. Let's look at another question. Question is, how do I actually start my online business from marketing to website development? Website development is not something you should be worried about. It's a complete waste of time and money. Do not spend any more than 0 cents on any graphic, pretty designed website. It doesn't mean anything. No one's going to see your stuff. Time management, how to keep current across all social platforms. Again, another question that is just not moving you in the right direction. Okay, so those are some of the questions. Obviously, there are other questions that are a little bit more legitimate, and I'm not saying these are illegitimate questions. I'm just saying that where your focus goes, that's where the energy is going to go, and that's where your attention is going to go, and the results are going to show. So if you're spending all of your time worrying about LLC and liability stuff, you're not focused on the most important thing in your business, which is getting more clients and making more money, period. That's all you should be focused on. So I want to give you a couple questions. You may want to write these down. These are questions that we use internally when we're thinking strategically through our business. I'm going to give you a couple here. So what can we do to reach our 3-year goals in the next 6 months? If you don't even know what your 3-year goals are, maybe you got to start there. Said otherwise, if I have a goal in X amount of time frame, what could I do to achieve it in 1/10 of the time? Good question to ask, because it's not about maybe I should build a pretty website. Let's look at some other questions. What could happen to cause a potential client to not buy from you? What specific risks, concerns, or fears do potential clients perceive that might be blocking their willingness to do business with you? This is one of the most important questions you should be wrestling with every single day. Right now, if you're not making anywhere near $1 million in business, the only thing you should be focused on is generating revenue. And by that, I mean enrolling clients. And when I say generating revenue, guys, please understand that the assumption is you're offering something terrific, a great service, a great program, even if it's one-on-one. We're not even going to question that, because that should be a given, okay? So we're not talking about scamming people and just making money for the sake of making money. We're saying exchange of value. So let me repeat this question, because I want to break this down as one of the most fundamentally important questions you need to think about in your business. What could happen to cause a potential client to not buy from you? What specific risks, concerns, or fears do potential clients perceive that could be blocking them or blocking their willingness to do business with you? Risks, concerns, fears about your business. So think about this. Like, really think about this. Why would someone not do business with you? That's a loaded question, and I'll give you some of the answers. Number one, they don't believe in your stuff. Something along the lines of like, why should I work with you as a health professional specific coach as opposed to a general business coach? That's a good question, right? Now, I'm not going to go and convince him that we're better. I mean, that's for him to decide. But these are important questions to think about. These are important things that if you do not address in your marketing, like how you do, we have 7, so internally, hopefully externally as well, Healthpreneur has 7 differentiators. There are 7 ways that we are different and better than pretty much everyone else out there. I'm not going to bore you with the 7 things here, but there are 7 things, okay? 7 things. If you do not know what separates you from everyone else, then maybe you should spend some time thinking about that. Because when you have potential clients asking you questions, or even not even asking you, just thinking about like, this sounds like something I've done before. Well, guess what? They're not doing business with you. Because if someone thinks that you're similar to someone else, you lose, you're done, end of story. If people see you as the same as others, it's not happening. The human brain is wired for novelty, and we will not move forward with something if we see something that is similar to something we've done in the past, because that thing we did in the past didn't quite work out well. So that well. So now we see this other thing, which is kind of the same, and we're like, it's all the same, right? This is what going back to this fundamental question is, what are the potential risks, threats, concerns that potential clients have about working with you that are keeping them from doing business with you? It could be your offer. It could be your price point. It could be the fact that they don't understand what it is you do, i.e. your messaging isn't clear. These are the most important things to focus on. These are the most important questions to really grapple with on a daily basis. And the best way to get the answers to these questions is to get on the phone with potential clients. So when you're doing enrollment calls, you're asking questions, right? End of the conversation, scale of 1 to 10, 1 being this is like not for me at all, I want to get off the phone, 10 being this is exactly what I've been looking for and I know this can work for me. Where do you find yourself now? Person says I'm a 7, cool, what would make it a 10? Well, now we're getting to the truth about the conversation if they're honest with you, right? Because the gap between the 7 and 10 is going to start to bring up those risks, concerns, and questions that they have, or those fears that is preventing them from moving forward. So I'll give you another example. So I had a call a couple weeks ago. I was doing like a week of calls and I spoke with someone not in a good financial situation, right? And she knew she needed our help. She was a 10 out of 10 on our thing, but decided not to move forward because she didn't believe in herself. And I told her, I'm like, listen, like I was in the same situation as you. I made $12,000 per year for 3 years almost before I hired my first coach, which was more than the $12,000 I made in the previous year. So I get it. Plus I had $55,000 sitting in credit line debt from some stupid decisions I made in terms of doing trade shows and physical products. So trust me, like I was in a worse position than you. The difference though is that I believed in myself enough to move forward with something that I saw as being the best solution for me. The difference here was that she believed that this is the best solution for her. She didn't have the belief in herself to make it work. That's the difference. So it's not just about your product. It's not just about your solution, but it's also about the internal dialogue your prospective clients are having about, can this work for me? Well, I did stuff in the past and I failed. Am I going to fail again? What if my spouse tells me I told you so, you wasted your money again? What if I look like a fool? These are all things you have to document. You have to document this stuff, write it down, and this needs to be embedded in your marketing, because when you can raise people's concerns and objections, you control them. They no longer do, and they can no longer use those as an excuse not to move forward. At the very minimum, you can have an open dialogue around what that's all about, right? And at least if you can bring stuff to surface, you start to neutralize it. You start to reduce its potency, because all this stuff for the most part are stories. So I share this with you guys because the most important part of your business, especially when you're starting out, and when I say starting out, I'm talking like $0 to like $500,000 minimum in revenue. Said otherwise, $40,000 a month roughly. The most important thing, and the only thing you should be thinking of, is how do I get more clients? What can I do to make more money? And I know that sounds very like cutthroat, but again, as I said earlier, you're providing an incredible solution on the back end. So don't worry about that. What can I do to make more money? How can I add value to my audience? How can I get myself more visible? What type of offers can I put out there today, right? How can I get something in front of someone in such a way that they're going to respond to me as opposed to ignoring my email or whatever it is you're posting? If you don't know what these questions are, like if you do not know what these questions are, this is exactly why you need to hire a coach. It doesn't have to be me. It could be anyone else who's hopefully knows what the hell they're doing. If you don't know what questions to ask, you will not get the answers you need to move forward. Because if you ask the question, how do I build a website? You'll get an answer. Here's how to build a website. Go to wix.com, get a nice looking website, and waste your money and time. That's not the answer you want. The answer you want is, how do I get more money, i.e. help more people, have more impact, have more freedom? And the question around how do I have a nice looking website has nothing to do with that. And the challenge is that you might be thinking that websites and revenue are correlated, or cause and effect even. And they couldn't be more uncorrelated, because all that matters is that you're able to put a message in front of the right people with an offer they can't resist and have a conversation with them in such a way where they want to work with you. So everything you should be focused on is on building your messaging, building your offer, and being able to amplify that to as many people as possible. Any other question outside of that needs to get put on the back burner. Healthpreneur, true story, we did not spend a single penny on our website, healthpreneurgroup.com, until 3 years ago. So halfway into our business journey, we didn't spend a single dime on a pretty website. And then I was like, hey, maybe we should have our website redesigned. And we spent $2,000 to get it redesigned. $2,000 is kind of on the cheap side when it comes to website redesigns. There are companies out there that'll charge you $15,000 and it takes 90 days to get an initial concept back. Like, we're not building a house here, guys. We're building a website. It doesn't take 3 months. It's ridiculous. It is the least useful use of your time and money, please don't make that mistake. You don't know what you don't know, and that is the biggest danger in your business. And the biggest and most important reason you have to, every single one of you watching this is a hypocrite if you are not working with a coach. That's the truth. Because if you are expecting people to hire you as a coach and you are not working with a coach, you do not deserve to have clients. That's the way it is. If you are not practicing what you preach, how can you expect, like you get what you attract. Become the client you want to attract. If people can't afford you, or you think people can't afford you, are you paying someone else? I've invested more than $1.1 million in coaching, masterminds, and mentorship since 2010. And I still do to this day. I spend over 5 figures a month in coaching for myself, because what the fuck would I be doing? Like how could I possibly tell people that they need to hire a coach if I don't work with one myself? How do I get better if I don't have a coach? If I'm not surrounded by a group of people who pull me up and allow me to get better, who challenge me, who show me what's possible. You can't do anything by yourself. And I don't care, like the excuse of like finances are tight is bullshit. Finances are tight for everyone. But the difference is that your financial situation is never gonna change unless you do something about it. And again, I'm sharing from my personal experience. I'm not a special snowflake. But trust me, if there's a lot of snowflakes, I'm the least special one. 2006 to 2009, I made less than poverty line income for 3 years. I didn't have money to invest in a coach, and that's exactly why I needed to, because nothing was gonna change until I developed the skills and the systems and the knowledge to build capacity to earn more money and to help more people and to grow a business. And that's the only reason that I'm here, because I took that first step, and here's what I did. I had $55,000. Literally, I can see them, I had $55,000 of credit line debt that I'm paying interest on. So 55,000 balance and interest on top of that every month. And this is happening for years because I made some bad choices early on because I was listening to the wrong people. I had all the excuses in the book not to do anything. Finances are tight. I'm drowning in debt. All right, I'm gonna invest another $18,000 on top of the $55,000 that I'm paying interest on already. You're crazy. I can't do that. That's what most people think, and that's why most people don't succeed. And I'm not saying you should go into debt. I'm saying you will never lose when you invest in yourself. So I made that decision, and I took out a friggin' Visa credit card that I had. It was actually across 2 credit cards, to be honest. I put it on my credit cards, and I'm like, fuck it. We have to make this happen. No and ifs or buts. That's it. Because when you don't pay, you don't pay attention. And when you don't pay, you treat your business like a side hobby. You treat it like a little arts and crafts store that there's no consequences if things don't work out. And when you play at that level, those are the results you get. So guys, I understand. I understand that there's inflation, the economy is changing, but none of that is ever gonna change unless you do. You create your economy. So please do not tell me your finances are tight, because I've been in tighter situations. I've been in situations where I owed people $150,000 in 7 days, and I made it happen. And again, I'm not saying I'm a special person, because I'm not. The only thing that has allowed me to get to where I am and thus help hundreds of thousands of people, and 10 times that amount with the impact we've helped through our clients who are health professionals. The only way I've been able to do that, guys, is by investing in myself, even when I wasn't able to. Because if you do not invest in yourself, you will never, ever, ever know what to do. And that sucks, because either your situation isn't bad enough and then you're not willing to change, that's fine, or it is and you're just scared to move forward, which is also fine. But you have to, because you have to be connected to how bad your current situation is. If you're in a financial tight situation right now, how much longer do you want to have that conversation? How much longer do you want to let that be your situation? How much longer do you want to be making $12,000 a year? Because the lady I had spoken to a little while ago, she'd been making $12,000 a year for almost like 8 years. That's a problem. And if you don't recognize how bad that is, that's a bigger problem. So you have to ask better questions if you want better results in your business. But the questions you ask are going to be predicated on the knowledge you have. And if you don't have enough knowledge, you can't ask the right questions. So if you're expecting other people to pay you money for you to coach them to achieve better results, you should look in the mirror. Because if you're not willing to step up and hire someone to show you how to get where you want to go, you don't deserve to have anyone to work with you. And that's just the way it is. So every single one of you watching this video, you need to really own this. You need to ask yourself this question. It's very simple. Do I have a coach that I'm paying money right now? If the answer is no, you don't deserve a single client. End of story. Tough shit. That's the way the world works. You think any athlete got to the top of the podium or a professional status by themselves? No, none of them did. They all had coaches. They all had coaches. I hope you get the hypocrisy. And again, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but if you don't have what it is you want, it's because you don't know something, and you will not fill in that gap by yourself, because you can't see what you can't see. And a coach, ideally an expert, someone who's been there and done that before, is going to show you what you don't know to help you fill in the gaps. So all it comes down to is, how badly do I want this thing that I say I want? If you don't want it badly enough, stop saying that you do, because you don't. Because if you did, you would do something about it. If your kids were kidnapped and you had to come up with $5,000, you would find a way to make the money. Get the money. How's this any different? It's not a must. And if it's not a must, stop saying it is. So all of this coming back to, we're asking the wrong questions. We're asking the wrong questions because we don't know the right questions to ask. We don't know the right questions to ask because we don't have the knowledge and context to even know what those questions are in the first place, which means you have to find someone who does know the questions to help you get better answers to the questions and problems you're dealing with. Otherwise, you'll always be in the same situation you're in right now. End of story. There we go. If you've enjoyed this video, awesome. If you didn't, I don't give a shit. That's something to think about, because if it triggered you, that's something you got to figure out. We've all been through shit. We've all been through tough times. Everyone's in a bad situation. Everyone's in a good situation. It's all perspective, but you're never going to change your situation by yourself. The faster you recognize that, and the faster you get out of that mindset, and the faster you actually get help to move forward regardless of your situation, the faster you're going to change your situation. All right. So anyways, there it is. A little bit of truth for you. Hopefully the questions I gave you earlier are going to stimulate some thinking. Hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.